Now let's talk about a very important concept within Excel, and that's cell references. Cell references are a lot like what they sound like. The fact that we're referring to either a specific cell or a range of cells, and we'll see in a minute why we need to do that. But if you've watched any of the previous videos, you've probably noticed that we refer to a cell by talking about the letter that corresponds with the column, so either A, B, C, or any of these letters along the top. And then we also refer to the row, so the rows along the side here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, etc. So in this case, the blue cell I have here, if I click in it, this is cell B5. That is my cell reference. Now we can always tell what cell we're in, and I'll click in the orange one so we can test this. I'm going to click in this orange cell, and you notice that up here there's a box called the name box, and that will always show us the name of the cell or range of cells that we have highlighted. So I say range of cells because we are able to give custom names sometimes if we want to name multiple cells at a time. But if you just have one cell highlighted, chances are it's going to be showing you the cell reference up here in the name box. And in this case I've got D9, and you can see that even Excel highlights that in orange for me so that it's easy to locate. But this is cell D9. Okay, so we reference the column as the first part of our cell reference, and then we reference the row. So it's always column, then row. Now when we go down, we'll see this orange area here, and this is really 1, 2, 3, 4 different cells. And sometimes we need to refer to a range of cells, to a group of cells, in this case these 4. And the way that we do that is we always start in the top of our range of cells when we're looking at ones in a column. So in this case I would start with B13, and then what we do is we reference the end of that range. So in this case it'd be down here at B16, and we separate that by a colon. So I do B13 colon B16, and I hit enter. And B13 colon B16 simply means this area right here, these 4. And we do a similar thing with a row. If we've got a range of cells that are in a row, we start on the left hand side and do B20, again with the colon to signify that it's a range. And then I'll go all the way to the end of my range, so to the far right, and I've got F20. So if you notice in my first example, the letter stayed the same, but the numbers changed because I was still within the same column, but different rows. And here in the purple range, since my columns are changing, my letters are different, but since I don't move out of row 20, that number 20 stays the same. Okay, so we always start at the top and all the way to the left. That's important when we look at a range like this, the black range of cells. As you can see, this is really quite a few cells altogether, and since this encompasses multiple columns and multiple rows, I start in the top left corner, and when I'm doing my cell reference of the range, I need to refer to the the cell that's the farthest to the right and also at the bottom. So that's down here in D28. So my top left is B24 colon, because I'm doing a range, D28, and that represents this whole range. Now if I have 2 cells, and we'll see this sometimes, you probably saw it when we were entering in numbers if you watched the earlier videos. We separate ones that are not next to each other, cells that are not next to each other, using commas instead of a colon. So in this case this would be B32, well, let me type it up here so it doesn't confuse us, B32 comma D33, because B32 is our red cell, D33 is the yellow one. And if I hit enter, now since I have a comma in between these, I'm not referring to any of these white cells here, I'm just referring to these 2. And if I wanted to put a green cell up here, for instance, I just have to put comma and then the cell reference for that cell. And we'll see when we talk more about functions and formulas why I'd want to refer to them individually or in full ranges like the black range.